T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Own it, own it, own it, Kong. I own it. It did.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
Woo! What's up, y'all? TK Trinidad here for Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet, WWT Live. I know I've been gone for a minute, but I'm back. And yes, I'm wearing my pajamas, so don't come at me. I am not alone. Cedric is in the building. How are you doing?
Pajamas though?
Look, I got into work mode early this morning, and I was like working and doing some other. I mean, once this drama is all done, I'm going to write a book because, yeah. So I've been just like working, and so and I do have, by the way, fun fact. When I was working from home, like more often, I had like work pajamas that I just wore like when I'm working. And they have pajamas. So,
That's smart. That's smart.
Difference. But we have a new co-host in the building, Mr. Booney Mayfield. How are you doing?
How you doing? How you doing? I'm glad to be here. I'm excited.
So, Booney, where did Booney come from?
Where did it come from? All right. Well, I came up with that stage name in 2007. I went through a lot of different stage names, and at the time I was a fan of the cartoon The Boondocks, and so I was coming up with a new name, and I was like, ooh, I like Boondock. That's cool. Make it like Boon and Doc. Yeah, I want to go with that as a name, but I also like a name that sounds like an actual name. So I was like, okay, Boondock is cool, but I want to make it sound like a name. So Booney something. What is it? And then I was sitting there thinking of last names for a while. And then one day I was like, listening to Curtis Mayfield, one of my favorites. And then I was just like, Booney Mayfield, that's it. And then AKA Boondock, on the side to use for, the branding as well. But yeah, that's how I came up with it.
Well, there it is. Did you know that, Cedric?
I knew some of it. Not all.
Well, there it is. Well, welcome to WWT Live, and we are going to get to our first story.
Top rope.
All right, you want to kick it off, Cedric?
Yeah, man. And I'm eating crow on this type of stuff already, man, because it looks like AEW is continuing to win with their show set at 65,000 tickets sold, and that's not even like the full number. We have a little bit more than that, but. And the crazy thing about this, that All In is making these waves right now, and there's no card announced at all. So we're seeing something that is in real time that is really magnificent. So Dave Meltzer reported that we're currently at ticket sales being at 65,584. The bulk of those tickets were sold on the first day. What's even more interesting than this is usually we have scalpers, people that are trying to cheat the system here with tickets. Less than 900 tickets are available on the aftermarket right now. So it's not like you can go to the third parties and say, hey, I want to get tickets or I want to buy 8 seats, something like that. They're really not there. So this is all just people off the pre-sale, the unique way they launched this, actually going out and buying the tickets. So AEW's winning. There's been some reported numbers that this is already the third biggest show outside of the US. So they're beating some international WWE shows. So kudos to AEW all around. I thought that they wouldn't clear 50, and it looks like they might easily get to the 74K mark.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I think we all agree, because I think it was me, you, and Gerard on that show. I think we all agree that it didn't happen. But like, you know, yes, we all have to eat crow. But I think what may have happened is that for the last, maybe including the pandemic, 4 or 5 years, there hasn't been a wrestling show of that magnitude, a la WWE or AEW, that has been in the UK. And then AEW has never been there. So now you, as a fan of wrestling, because let's be honest, like, people who watch wrestling typically either, you know, skew to AEW or skew to WWE. Like, there's nobody who evenly, like, I just like them both. Like, most people I know who watch both of them, they're kind of in the field that we're doing now. So I feel like you have a big contingent of AEW fans that you've never seen AEW live before. So, and then who knows when they're going to come back? You don't know if this is going to be an annual thing or whatever. So I think that people are jumping at that. I feel like it's the same for, say, your favorite performer, and you know that this will probably be the last time you're going to see them, like, ever. Like, you're gonna like, for instance, the Beyonce is like, this is it. I'm not performing ever again. And, you know, like, the tickets.
You can imagine how expensive that would be alone.
Oh, no, it would be crazy.
Yeah, plus your first.
You'd be out here selling kidneys.
Yeah. So, but people would do it because it's like, this is the last time I'm going to experience this. So I feel like with that, you don't know when AEW is going to come back. You don't know if it's going to be an annual thing. You don't need to buy it. Like, you don't know. So you'd rather just get the tickets now so you can see it. So it kind of makes sense how everything is going. And congratulations to them, you know.
Yeah.
So,
but don't you think, even with all that the card kind of has to over deliver now?
I don't think so. I think that you still, like, regardless of the card, it's about the overall brand and product. Like, you're hoping that the card is going to be great, right? But it's the overall thing. So, like, you know, if the card's not great, but you're still going to see the MJFs, the Moxley, all that stuff, then, like, you're still going to be happy, because it's not something that, I think we're spoiled here, where we can see, you know, Impact whenever, we could see WWE in like, you know, the regular shows and all that stuff. So I feel like when you don't have that access and you don't have those opportunities, then, like, yes, you're hoping the card will be great, but at the end of the day, you don't want to miss it because you don't know when it's going to happen again. So either way, you know, I hope the card is great. It really sucky if it isn't, but I don't think it'd make much of a difference.
I think I agree with that, because I actually felt that way a little bit going to WrestleMania this year. I mean, it was the first and only WrestleMania I've ever been to, and since it was going to be out here in LA, it was just like, had to take advantage of it. And so the card, there was aspects at first where there are some people I was hoping to be on the card or hoping to be, you know, that weren't. And so there were some aspects that I was expecting and hoping for, you know, that wasn't, you know, especially like from compared to some of the legends like Stone Cold Steve Austin, you know, the year before and everything. So it being in Hollywood, you know, and they're pumping it up with all these movie like theme things. I'm sitting there expecting I'm going to see maybe at least The Rock, Stone Cold, somebody. I don't even need to see a whole match, but at least see them. And it not happening was like kind of disappointing. But being there while I was there, it was just like you can't compare it to anything. It was like the whole card was like enjoyable to me. I was rooting for everybody. I didn't boo one person. I was just so excited. I was rooting for Sheamus. I don't root for that dude much like that. So I was like really feeling. I was like, when he did that chest thing, I usually hate that move. And being there, I stood up like, yeah. So I agree. It's not really like they have to over deliver, as long as they just do keep consistent with what they already been doing for their fans, you know, they're gonna love it.
Well, we'll see what happens. Yeah, we hopefully to have some boots on the ground for that show. But yeah, I definitely agree. It was my first time at WrestleMania too, and it was more about the honestly. Well, I'm a different type of goer. Like I don't go when things open. I leave before it closes. Like I don't want any of the. So I'm more of the experience and like, okay, I've experienced this. This looks great. You know, catch a match or two, and then I'm out. Like I don't want to deal with no parking issues. I don't want to be waiting. I don't want to be, I don't want any of that. So my experience was a great experience because even the stadium was amazing. Yeah. So there's all like things beyond the match was just like so like amazing. So yeah, I definitely agree. I think it's gonna be the experience, but we'll hope it's a good card. But
yeah.
AEW's kind of, we'll see.
Yeah, you know.
What do we have next?
Next. You know what? In lieu of everything that's going on this week, I wanted to kind of jump to another story because I watched this maybe like 20 minutes ago. But if you didn't know, NFL released their schedules yesterday. So there's a lot of hoopla. As a Commanders fan, our owner just sold the team. So I'm very excited about that. But we had some wrestler appearances for some of their favorite teams. If you know Seth Rollins, if you follow his Twitter, every weekend he tweets, I love football or I hate football, depending on if the Bears win or lose. We had The Miz actually narrate the schedule release for the Cleveland Browns, which I thought was actually kind of cool in a cute, corny type of way, but it was wrestling themed. They had Brownie the Elf take on every mascot or curation of each football team weeks 1 through 18 and defeat them. We know the Browns are going to go to Super Bowl either way, but still, it was kind of cool how they did it, and The Miz being a part of that, because he's not the only Cleveland Browns fan that exists. I think Dolph Ziggler, Johnny Gargano, all Cleveland natives, all diehard Browns fans. But I thought it was unique that these football franchises used wrestlers to kind of engage that market of social media for some of their fans. But I thought it was kind of cool that The Miz did that. I thought it was cool that Seth Rollins kind of took the Alicia Keys waitress role in his appearance for the Chicago Bears, taking orders. So what did you guys think of it? Did you guys get a chance to see that?
I saw the Miz one. I didn't get to see the Seth Rollins one, but I'm now that you said that, now I have to go back and actually watch it. I'm just like, wait.
Yeah, Seth was cool. Yeah, they had cameos by former Chicago Bears players. Spice Anderson was in the video as well. They were working at a restaurant, pretty much taking orders of foods from different franchises of the city, like famous foods. Like, so Detroit Lions, somebody was like, hey, can I get a Coney dog? And they're like, no, we're in Chicago. You can't get that here. So get out the restaurant.
Oh my God.
I have to see both of them.
Yeah, I feel like it's a good tie-in. Like I think with the merger, and I think the whole goal, even when Nick Khan came into play, was to make WWE mainstream media. And now you're having the cross of football and WWE. So I mean, I think it's a good play. You have WWE fans that might watch football because they know that Seth Rollins is a fan of this, and I think there's a lot of like connectivity involved. So I think it's a good play. And yeah, you're right, Stephanie. Big E has been doing a lot of appearances for the USFL as well. So I think either way, there's a lot of things. People are seeing the benefit of WWE and the WWE universe and the WWE fans. So why not tap into it? It's even if say there's 100,000 of us and you get 10% of that, that's better than nothing. So either way, it makes sense. Santana saying shout out to the Bears. I didn't know you were a Bears fan, Santana. Okay.
Yeah, the crossover appeal is definitely there. And piggybacking off the Big E comment, he's everywhere in the sports world. So not just for the Iowa Hawkeyes, which is alma mater, but he's done intros for different boxing matches. So like, I think once you see that with a guy like Big E, like you're going to see more crossover there. Because like you said, it builds the dynamic. It's more viewership for both parties. You can only win.
Yeah. And then people might also wonder like who this guy is, like who Big E is. And now they're going to Google him. And, that will also be like, okay, well, what does he do? Like I've done that on occasions where I see somebody and I'm like, okay, how does this make sense? And then
Yeah.
you do a quick Google search, and now you see that they've done X, Y, and Z, and that might also bring another fan in.
It does work.
So Dylan asking, is Tony Khan going to get Orange Cassidy to announce? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Let's see.
We'll see what happens. What do we have next?
Let's see.
God.
So on the heels of we're talking about All In the large gate. We know we're coming off a big pay-per-view with Backlash from Puerto Rico. So now it's being reported that the WWE may be looking to do a premium live event from Perth, Australia, which is actually really huge. I know I think their last event was back in 2016.
Right.
They did the Super Showdown down there. But now Perth, Australia is looking to get a premium live event. It might actually be in the near future, which I think, for one, is pretty big because of all the Australian superstars that are on the main roster right now. We know Indy Hartwell just got called up. Rhea Ripley's one of the biggest stars in the company. What do you guys think? Could it be as big as Backlash? I'm thinking it might even be bigger if they can actually get over there for a PLE.
Dylan saying hell nah. I think when WWE, this is not new for WWE. Anytime they are looking into, because at one point they were looking into going into China, and to the point where I think John Cena was learning like Mandarin and stuff like that. So this is not new. Like the pandemic kind of stopped everything, but why not? It kind of piggybacks with the whole football thing. Like now you're gonna go somewhere that you don't go often. You're going to sell out the tickets. You also have people who are from the country that also that are also part of the company. It makes sense. Like why not? So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll be curious to see if so Dylan's giving some facts now. Perth is 60K and Sydney can do 83K. So I mean, Dylan's giving us the Australian facts, so maybe Perth is not the best scenario, but it's still Australia. I feel very ignorant in America when I say that.
What were we talking about a couple of weeks ago? Last time we were on it, is Perth like the Pomona?
Oh yeah, we were. Oh, Pomona. And then their summer is in December. So did they announce when the show is supposed to be allegedly?
They didn't announce a time frame, but they're starting to gauge the interest, and I think there's interest on both sides. They're speaking with the actual tourism group that would co-promote it, so I think it could probably happen within the next year and a half, if anything. But I don't think there's a idea for which PLE they would want to go with. But it's just showing that the momentum that they're having with doing international premium live events is going to be a thing. I know the professor and I talked about it a few times. When you see these audiences, and I think it was the Monday Night Raw audience, which was actually a little bit dry this past week. I think the states are going to start getting dinged for some of these international tours because the audiences are craving it and they're going to be more lively the entire time, making the performers feel more valued for their time and efforts, to be honest.
Yeah, and then maybe they could charge more ticket sales. Stephanie's saying that they should go to South Africa or Ghana. I mean, if it makes
Did we miss the vote on Ghana during Kofi Mania? Like they didn't. I know he went over there on his own with the title, but did we miss the vote on that? Like on doing a PLE out there?
Maybe.
Or a live event?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Like
maybe.
it could be that it's no different than what a lot of people thought about as far as like black movies, and they're like, well, black movies don't do numbers. So maybe they just feel like, okay, well, black folks are not going to buy tickets. So, or they might not be able to afford to buy tickets. Maybe they just didn't do their research, or maybe they did do their research. So it just, this is where it kind of helps to be transparent. I know businesses and companies can't necessarily be transparent about everything, but it's like when you have something like, well, why don't you go to this place? They can literally say, we've done the numbers and blah, 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 or we haven't done the numbers and we just don't want to go. Like either way. But it is what it is. JD saying that the US audience has been pretty lame. I think we're spoiled. I think we're spoiled. Again, for me, the fact that I can go to a lot of these events and I don't stay for the full experience, knowing that I'll probably go to another event in the next couple months or a year or whatever. Like, it's just kind of like, okay. However, if it's like, I don't know when I'm going to see this event again, I don't know when it's going to be in my town or, you know, whatever, then I might maybe stay for the whole thing. I might get there on time. I might, like, you know, I might do the full thing. Whereas now, like, you know, if they're not, you know, at least in LA that they're going to be in LA, what, 2 to 3 times a year? Something like that.
Yeah.
2 to 3 times a year. You know, AEW is going to be, if they're not in LA, they'll be Vegas, which is kind of like LA adjacent. Like, you know, the two, you're going to be between Vegas and LA. If you really want to see a show, you know, you can see at least 1 to 2 shows a year. So, you know, there's that. And then Dylan also asked, also saying that Impact just announced Australia. And here's the question with Impact. Impact is doing so much, like we saw that Trinity is signed on to Impact, and you know they've always been around. So it's not even like we're giving Impact their flowers. Do you think now with wrestlers seeing the value of Impact as far as their schedule is not going to be as like rigorous as is WWE, and they can actually have like a work-life balance, that more wrestlers will come to Impact and therefore Impact will start making more money, and then we're going to see, you know, Impact actually make a bigger impact in the wrestling community? Do you see that happening, or where do you see Impact as far as everything? Do you think they're just going to stay the same, or what do you think is going to happen?
Honestly, you know, my opinion about that is still, I'd say it's still bacon, and I don't want to serve it unprepared because it's one of those things that, like, ideally you would like to, you know, see more of that, but it just really depends on how much money they got coming in already that they can use to invest, you know, and other wrestlers, because you know if they are used to making a certain, you know, amount, then, you know, it's going to have to match that in some kind of way that works for them and everything. So it's just I'd like to see more people more in the business of like having that work-life balance, you know, just period, happening. So I can see why it would be something that many would be very interested in, but then it just kind of depends, like, well, how stable do I know that's going to be when this is not a stable business by far?
Cedric?
I think it could. I mean, I think a lot of people know now that WWE isn't the only game in town. So there's a lot of factors that go into that. Is whether there's a level of creative control or direction that you can have input on is usually a big thing, which is why we've seen so many names that have left in the past. And even with the financials, I think people have shown that you can make money in a different scene, whether it be off your appearances, your likeness. I think I saw an excerpt from Sami Zayn when he said he went from making 100,000 on the Indies, and his first WWE deal was like 35K. So there's a misconception about you get paid a lot more when you go to WWE. So I think, and I know there's some names out there who are just waiting for their contract to end right now that we might see pop up in Impact later this year. So I think once you see more of that flourishing, people saying that the brand Impact itself has more stability now, I think it's a large possibility they can start being like in competition with WWE as well as AEW.
Right. And then also too, just the I think for Trinity personally, I feel like we're gonna see a more evolved version of her character that she hasn't been able to showcase in WWE. So I think when a lot of other wrestlers who might not be getting those opportunities in WWE or Impact or AEW, like they might see Impact as a legitimate one of the reasons, and I'm not a wrestler, so I'm just guessing, but I think one of the reasons you become a wrestler is like, on top of doing amazing things, is telling the story and being a great storyteller and being able to really fully like pursue your character. And if Impact is offering that, then why not? Dylan's saying, I saw Chelsea Green still has her Pro Wrestling Tees link, which is interesting. I don't know. Chelsea at Impact was amazing. All her versions of her character. Joseph asking, did Impact locking down Trinity help them because the real B game? Am I missing that question? Am I missing something? Did lock down Trinity that help them become the real B game? Oh, meaning like their second. I think it helped their views for people who rock Trinity and who like women's wrestling. Like, if you could care less about Trinity and you're more of a Trinity hater, then you might tune in the first 1 or 2 episodes. Then you're like, ugh, whatever. But if you're a fan of Trinity, like, shout out to Santana and Nikki, because we have an Impact after show, and we've been having an Impact after show, and Impact has been rocking with Women's Wrestling Talk and Women's Wrestling Weekly. Like, Impact has been rocking with me and the brand since its beginning. So now people are jumping on watching Impact because of Trinity. It's great. But, you know, Impact's been doing amazing work before all of that, especially where women are concerned. Go back to episode 2 of Women's Wrestling Weekly when Gail Kim came on, and she talked about all the things that Impact did for women's wrestling. So, you know, just putting it out there.
You know, to chime in on what you were saying about Trinity and just like Impact, like just seeing the evolution of her in ways that she wasn't able to do before. It's just like, you know, speaking as a, you know, a musician and a, you know, an artist, like in that creative field, and an actor, like I totally understand, because creative freedom is everything. You know, and especially within acting as a performer, is like, okay, you only have so much limited control with like what's written for you, you know, like screenwriters and all that stuff. But I've been on sets where it's just like I have the freedom to try different things with my character, or maybe ad lib, or, you know, say things differently, while I've been in other situations where it's just like I had to stick to this and it just wasn't like natural to me, and I didn't enjoy it, you know. And so when that is your job and your life, and it's just like it crosses, because the creativity is what brings the joy for, you know, the performer to be doing this, like thinking of, oh, I got this new character idea and I want to dress with this and blah blah blah, and you know, maybe kind of go in this direction. And when something like that is rejected or resisted, you know, it's I've experienced that. So, you know, I'm really, really excited for Trinity. I've been a fan ever since, you know, my wife was a fan of Total Divas, and I got caught into that. And that's what actually brought me back into watching wrestling, because it was the Attitude Era I was like really, you know, heavy into, and then I missed the whole Ruthless Aggression era. So it was my wife watching Total Divas, and then it's like kind of pulling me in. I'm seeing, you know, I'm like, huh, okay. And that's what just got us closer to watching Raw and SmackDown. And then the women's evolution was just starting to happen. Then they were doing the hashtag Give Divas a Chance, or all those things. And then on the NXT side, you had the 4 Horsewomen coming up. It was just amazing. So yeah, going back, I trailed off. I'm really excited for Trinity, because I just love who she is as a person, from what I've seen on the reality shows, and I've always rooted for her, you know, professionally and what she does. So to see her, you know, in this new space where she has the freedom, and I think, you know, there's going to be this newfound confidence and happiness that's going to exude, and that's going to bring something that we haven't even seen before.
I agree. So that brings us to, I mean, we talked a little bit about Impact, but also MLW. So have you guys been watching MLW? Like, there's so much wrestling, so it's like completely okay if you say no, but have you guys been watching MLW, or are you familiar with the MLW brand?
I'm familiar with the brand, but I'm not caught up on it yet.
Yeah. And I'd say same here. But I feel like they're also like Impact, like meaning that no matter what, there's still somewhere, like they're still somewhere floating around. Like we get the emails as far as their shows. And so now they just announced the new season of Fusion is going to be debuting on YouTube May 28th. So it's just kind of like, I love the fact that, you know, brands other than AEW and WWE, you have different options to develop characters. So like, congratulations to MLW for, you know, could keep on keeping on. I don't know how many shows they have. I know one of the Fatus are, I think it's Jacob, who's a part of that. Yeah, so it's just kind of like, you know, congratulations to them. And, you know, we will, I don't know. It is so much wrestling.
There's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. I was recently put onto MLW, and you know, just looking at even the teasers, the different videos and promos, I was just like, okay, subscribe.
Yeah.
I didn't even know, so I'm excited to see, you know, what they're going to be bringing with this new season. I still got to catch up on what they were doing before, but it's looking like I'm going to have a fun time, you know, catching up.
Yeah, it's. I have a friend who watches it. I think he watches it more than anything else. And so we've had some people from some female wrestlers from MLW come on the show for interviews. So like he's always like, you know, like referencing them and stuff like that. So I mean, kudos to them as far as being a great band and another opportunity for wrestlers, period. Because if you're just learning how to wrestle, if you wrestle but you have nowhere to, you know, have matches, then what's the point? So we need different people in different places to, you know, for this whole thing to actually happen. So yeah, definitely with that. What else do we have? Heels.
Let's see. Oh yeah, it looks like Heels season 2 to premiere on July 28th. So what's that?
Have you guys seen season 1?
Yes, I loved it. So I'm excited, but I literally what is it on again? Showtime or HBO?
It's Stars, isn't it?
Stars. Okay, yeah, it is Stars. So I literally got a Star subscription for a month to watch that show. Because it's like I'm a fan of the actor from the Arrow series and all that. So and it was Heels, and I'm more of a fan of Heels. It's a good show. I don't know if y'all, Cedric, have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it yet. No,
I haven't seen it either.
It's a good show. It's heavy. You know, it's one of those dark, heavy shows, but you know, dramatic shows. But it's dope. I like it.
I wonder now if it's going to be pushed back because of the writer's strike. Like, I wonder if they announced season 2 and now we're in the writer's strike. And I've just been hearing that it could be anywhere from like 4 to 6 months that this strike is going to be happening.
Yeah.
So I wonder.
Well, it's like with the strike, the shows that are being affected like immediately are like the late night shows and those that need concentrate like there, but like more on the movies and film and the television realm, you're not really gonna see the impact of it like right away when you have things already in post and finished. So it just like it kind of depends on how much they already had filmed, you know what I mean? If they already filmed the season and they're just going to be releasing, you know, the episodes each, which most shows do now, rather than, you know, like the old sitcom style, like, okay, we're coming up with this show now. All right, now where are we going to go? It's like, no, they have it all figured out. So I don't think there's going to be an issue with season 2, but moving forward, if they had plans for season 3 already, that's definitely being, you know, affected by it. But most film and television shows that are already slated to be releasing this year, most of the stuff was already done.
Very true. Yeah, when I have some time, maybe I'll put it on my to watch list. Heels. There's so
I know
much.
they're saying I think a big part of this press release is that CM Punk's reprising his role, but also that his wife is going to be joining him on the season 2. So is this AJ Lee's first time dipping her toe into the acting waters?
I think so. I know she's done the book. I know she's affiliated with WoW. but I think so.
Yeah, I've never known of AJ doing anything acting wise. So yeah, that's probably gonna be something new for her too, unless she's been doing it for a while.
I'm doing like a quick search. So she's known for WWE stuff. Wow. No, she has been acting a little bit. She was in looks like a film called Rabid in 2019.
Oh, okay.
Well, the rest of the stuff is more wrestling. She was in Scooby Doo WrestleMania Mysteries, so she was a voice, but she was voicing herself.
Right.
So yeah, it looks like most of the stuff has been like wrestling, but there was like one actress thing, and she's been doing stuff for a while. So we'll see what happens. And usually when people and Stephanie's saying she's done commercial before. Usually when people say that like somebody's gonna be in a show, like it could vary from she's in like 4 episodes to she literally just makes an appearance.
A cameo, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see where all that goes. But what else do we have? Oh, we do have some more Impact news. A match has been added for Impact Wrestling Under Siege.
The tag team match.
Yeah. Does anybody want to take that one?
I have. Let me see.
Tag team match titles Under Siege. Ace Dawson and Chris Bay defend their belts against Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan. So that's going to be happening May 26th in London, Ontario.
Oh, I haven't kept up
That's
with
Flash
Impact.
Morgan's first match with Impact, right?
I think so. Well, that's the Impact team. But yeah, I think
Flash has not been active since NXT UK.
Oh yeah, it's so hard to keep track of who left. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, because they were a pretty popular tag team with NXT UK. Then of course we know what happened with NXT UK.
Right.
I think Mark went back a little earlier, but I think this might be Flash's first time appearing in a promotion of such.
So yeah, I think that they're probably gonna have more matches as well. I feel like with the momentum of Trinity being like added to the company, I feel like they're gonna do some things. They're gonna do some more things for this next pay-per-view. When is NXT Europe starting?
That's a good question. They announced it, but it seems like almost everybody that was affiliated with the NXT UK brand is kind of in the States, like overseas now here.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure who's left.
Yeah, I feel like they've done the merge with UFC, and now they've developed the name, which I'm not too happy about the name, but whatever. But I think they're letting things settle before they even do, because I think they were gonna do like an NXT like Europe and NXT Africa and NXT, or no, was it? I think it might have been WWE Europe. Was it NXT or WWE? I think it might have been WWE Europe or something like that. So I think they were looking into stuff like that, but I feel like they had to get this deal settled first before they go into doing other things.
I wonder what that would mean for superstars who previously didn't want to, I guess, come to the States full time, like Gunther. Would they all of a sudden jump ship to be back closer to home?
We'll see. We shall see. I think we have one more story.
We got Ted DiBiase to launch Everybody's Got a Pod on Premier Streaming Network. So he already has the first episode of Everybody's Got a Pod is available now to Premier Plus subscribers. And basically he's taking just like a deep dive into like just his stories that, people haven't even heard, and sharing those and everything. So yeah, that seems like it's going to be really cool what he's got going on.
Yeah, all those stories are like really cool to hear. Like I remember when I was working with X-Pac, and he had all these like there's stories that he didn't even tell on the show that is like just so insane, because I feel like that time when they didn't have phones and like they were literally driving to like most of the places and all the things, and it was really WWE and pretty much nothing else. I feel like that time there's so many different stories, good and bad. Because I think there was like there might have been like a, well, I don't want to say because I don't want to be quoted, but yeah, like good or bad, I feel like they have some of the craziest stories because that time, one, it wasn't documented. There's no, you couldn't pull out a phone. Like there was a lot of, there was a lot of things that you couldn't talk about, you couldn't say. A lot of things like went, you could just do whatever. That's why I'm kind of really curious to read Medusa's book because I'm sure she had some crazy stories too, just being a woman in the business at that time. So yeah, we'll see. What I'm hoping for is that it's going to be well produced, where it's not just and again, no offense to old people, it's not just an old man telling stories. Because
yeah, definitely. Have you seen the show Young Rock before yet?
I've seen bits and pieces. I really need to sit down and watch. There's something that like I respect it and I like it from afar, but there's something that's like stopping me from actually watching it,
committing to it.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I haven't really.
Well, I feel like if you maybe even just start from the second season, it gets a lot more into when he's kind of pretty much the Attitude Era is starting and just his transition from there. A lot of the first season is more like on his childhood and then his struggles with football and all that stuff before getting into wrestling and stuff like that. So I think if you just check from the second season, which I recommend a lot of times, usually new TV shows that people haven't even seen, start from the second or third season, then work your way back. So there was one because the first pay-per-view that I ever got to see, because I was never able to get one, was the SummerSlam 1990, was it 97 98 with the ladder match with The Rock and Triple H, and that match was just everything to me. And so there's a whole episode about that match and what was going on behind the scenes between Triple H and just the mistakes that The Rock was making, like behind the scenes socially, that he had to even learn too. That it's just like, wow, I didn't even know that's interesting and stuff. So if you even just starting from that episode, that will make you go and check out some, at least if you don't watch any other episode, watch that one.
Okay. I feel like my summer is gonna be I'll have more time to watch TV and party, so that's kind of the goal. So I'll add that to the list. And I think the last story we have is Brian Kendrick's helping Bad Bunny to train for the Backlash match. I know. Wait, were you guys both on for the, or was it Booney? You were the only one on for the after show for Backlash after show.
I was there too.
Yeah,
okay,
we were there. We were both
what do you guys think of that match?
Man, I think it's a testament to like his passion for the business. I know we talked about it a lot Saturday night, but I still don't see a way how that wasn't the closing of the show when it was probably the most anticipated match of the night. We've seen the videos, the lyrics of the song have been in my head all week. I think that they have a very good thing with Bad Bunny moving forward that can be, maybe it leads to a mid-card title or something like that, but definitely more appearances, maybe a surprise Royal Rumble spot. He's already done that once, I believe. But just having him on the schedule is looking more big time than it's ever been for somebody who's not just showing up, but actually improving more and more every time we see him.
Yeah. The way I feel is, I mean, Bad Bunny could retire from music today and fully succeed in the WWE and remain huge in that market if he wanted to. Like that's how much I feel like, respect I have for what he has done, and not even being like, you can tell he cares and he has a passion for it. So him just doing that on the side for fun,
Right.
then that just goes to show that it's like there's something special there. And yeah, every time he's gonna step into it, people are gonna be excited. So yeah,
So
I thought it was a great thing.
do you think that, and I kind of know the answer, but I just want to throw this out. You guys answer in the chat. Who is more beneficial for the brand, Logan Paul or Bad Bunny?
My counter question to that is, Logan Paul is 26. Is he 26, 25? How old is Bad Bunny?
We can find out in 1 second. Let's see. Logan Paul age. Logan Paul is 28.
28.
And
Okay.
Bad Bunny is
29.
Yeah. Yep.
28, 29. So similar ages.
Yeah,
I think Bad Bunny definitely makes more money for the company. Now, as much as I don't want to be, I guess, subjective here, I can't really say that Bad Bunny's a better wrestler than Logan Paul. Logan Paul is a very polarizing person. But Bad Bunny definitely brings more eyes to the product internationally, I feel, even from a social media aspect than Logan Paul.
yeah.
But it's slight. It's slight. I'd say it's like a 55, 45, 60, 40 type of thing.
Okay.
And just the heat that Logan Paul generates, he generates some heat. So it definitely helps the business, but yeah.
Do we want to see a Bad Bunny Roman Reigns match? I don't know if I want to see that.
I don't know.
I mean, they gave Logan Paul the match.
Yeah, I think you would need to have. I think it's possible, but I think Bad Bunny's also committed to storylines, so it would have to make sense to the people who are watching and to him for him to say yes, I'll do that. Like, I mean, I'm thinking in general he would want to have a match with Roman Reigns, but I also feel like he's thinking like a true wrestler, and it's about the story, and not just like having the match.
I think Roman would be down too. I think he would almost be like, hey, it's more visibility from him as well outside of the wrestling space. I think that's why he was okay with the Logan Paul match.
Yeah. The thing I feel is just like, I think that Bad Bunny is bigger for the business when it comes to matches, to big matches coming up. But when it comes to storyline, I don't think there would be that much longevity in storylines, maybe compared to what you could work with storylines for Logan Paul. And when we're talking from a promo aspect, since Bad Bunny, English is not his, primary language, that's also a limitation. While Logan Paul, he knows how to talk his shit and make everybody hate him.
Right. And you need
so it's kind of like he has that ability to kind of do like, just like in the boxing realms and everything, of just rivalries that you're just like, you're just waiting, like somebody need to knock his ass out, somebody need to punch him in the face, and all of a sudden, but each time they have their match, it's just like Logan Paul shows that he's natural at this too, and really dope. So that's the other angle too. So it just kind of depends. I think they're both, and one is naturally a heel, while one is naturally more of a baby face too. So I think equally, honestly, they both good for business, as they would say.
There it is. All right. Well, that marks our stories for Friday, for today. Is there anything that you guys are looking forward to for, SmackDown, Rampage? If there's any other wrestling stuff that's happening this weekend, anything that you're looking forward to?
Cameron Grimes debut tonight versus Baron Corbin.
It's like
you guys know that Ted DiBiase story. Cameron Grimes has been way too clean cut for me for like the past year and a half. I need to go back to like the sleazeball, money Cameron Grimes. If we can trickle in Ted DiBiase for some more TV time here in the near future to pair up with Cameron Grimes again, I think that'll help his character out a lot. Just get ingratiated with the main roster fans. But On top of that, we got the second leg of the World Heavyweight Championship tournament. I don't know if you guys saw Edge's emotional video, which is polarizing part of the IWC with should Edge actually win the title or not. But I think it'll be interesting seeing who the company actually chooses to be the main event later this month at Clash of Champions.
Okay. What about you?
I'm just interested in seeing where this is all going with this extra title going on right now, because a lot of fans are confused, me included, and I just don't know. I'm just like, where is this going? I just don't know what they're going to do with. Okay, I don't know. I'm not going to open this can of worms right now, but I am just hoping that it's going to make sense with because right now it's like you got tournaments for the title that's set for Raw, but you even got some people competing from SmackDown. So that's where I'm getting confused. Like, wait, I thought this is strictly Raw and over here strictly, and there is no more cross. What are we doing right now? So I'm just more curious to see where this is going, and I think they're still trying to figure it out themselves too, and hopefully it just lands perfectly, because right now it's feeling and looking like a hot mess.
Is that the official tag team name that I saw in the comments? The Misery Loves Company, is that official?
I don't know. I mean, if Bosa let us know, Bosa, if that's the official name. Bosa's pretty good on his facts.
Yeah, it's pretty clever. So,
but yeah, I mean, I agree with all that. I mean, I feel like we want so much, and I get it, but it's like also the fact that AEW and WWE literally produce content weekend. I mean, so does Impact too, and they produce content week in and week out. Like, sometimes they're not gonna get it right. So in theory, it would have made sense, but
it makes. I mean, they have their waves. You got your slumps. The sometimes like for a couple months, it's just like, what is going on, and then it catches stride, or a new faction starts, or new, and everything. And so I'm used to watching those waves, and it's like, it's like watching your favorite team. Who's your favorite team? No matter what, if they're doing good that season or bad that season, that's your team. And that's how I look at this all of it. It's like this sport, this sports entertainment, whatever you want to reference it as, pro wrestling. Like, I love it. We all love it, and we all just look forward to just continue succeeding, and we're gonna have our hiccups. We have those moments where it's like, what on the world was that? But they figure out a way to try to make up for it. And you're right. They don't have a season at all. They don't have a like, oh, okay, we're taking a break. It's just ongoing. It's a soap opera or rope opera, as I call it. And sometimes you ain't got enough to figure out the story perfectly. You just gotta go, because the show's gotta continue one way or another. So kudos to the writers that got the pressure and all that stuff, whether we complain or not. I know it's a lot of hard work behind the scenes for everybody back there.
Wait, do you think the writers for wrestling are going to be affected by the writers' strike?
I thought I saw something about that. They're not from the Writers Guild. The writers within the like WWE, they're not affected. Yeah, it's the Writers Guild, association organization that is doing that. So I remember seeing an article about that this week or last week. So they're not affected.
Okay. Well, on that note, we'll start with our new co-host, Booty Mayfield. Where can everybody find you?
Oh, you can find me at Booney Mayfield. I'm on Instagram. That's the only social media platform I'm on. That and TikTok. Yeah, I guess I don't use that. Find me on Instagram, YouTube. You can find me on there as well at Booney Mayfield, or just type in Booney Mayfield. BooneyMayfield.com is my website as well. But yeah, where I'm most active is YouTube and Instagram. Check me out.
And Mr. Cedric, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on the Bird app at Said Says. That's CEDDSAYS with an underscore in between it. Find me on Instagram at Said Is The Answer, and check me out on Daily DDT. I write articles. Just dropped one this past Monday.
Did you say the Bird app?
Yep, the Bird app.
All right, just checking. Oh yeah, it is Saturday morning. Thanks, Dylan, for always being a fan. We appreciate you. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms, all the good stuff. But I don't need to say that because I actually really produced the whole commercial that I always conveniently forget to play until the very end. So watch all the things. You'll see all the shows that we have. And we will see you on Monday. All right, y'all. Hey peeps, TK Trinidad here, boss lady of Women's Wrestling Talk. And I want to say thank you so much for watching, because you've got millions of options. Plus, you don't have to worry about sharing your password to check us out. But while you're here, hopefully you know we have so many more shows to watch, like Turnbuckle Glam, Raw Post Show, WoW Post Show, AEW Dynamite Post Show, Women's Wrestling Army Post Show, NXT Post Show, Impact Wrestling Post Show, AEW Rampage and SmackDown Live Post Show, On the Scroll, ROH Post Show, WWT Live, plus all of our interviews with the hottest women's wrestlers in the game. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our website at www.talkpod.com and follow us on all social media platforms at www.talkpod, and make sure to spread the word. That means send this to the group chat. Yes, even the person with the green bubble. Thanks again so much for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Ciao for now.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.